Listen, I just want to ask you a few questions real quick. I just want to ask you, what made you choose rock and roll in particular as your style? What made you choose rock and roll? Because I know you can do a lot of things.
It's interesting because I didn't choose it. It kind of chose me, you know, and I think it's pretty evident when you see when you see me perform. And you know, I mean, I love all kinds of music, but whenever I would sit down to create, it was always rock and roll. It was always the driving guitars that I would hear and the riffs, and it chose me. And quite honestly, I think that what happened is, you know, you always have a definitive moment where music kind of it embeds itself into the soundtrack of your life, and something poignant happens, or something really powerful, emotional happens. And it's funny, but it happened when I was 8, and my big sister, I have a sister, she's about 10 years older than me. She took me to see Tommy, The Who's Tommy, the movie.
Okay, Tina Turner.
We went, and she, you know, so she was a teenager, and we went, and I saw Tina Turner up there, and I freaked out. And the whole thing, and there I was, 8 years old, crying.
Yeah.
As at the ending, when Roger Daltrey's like, you know, listening to you, I get the movement, gazing at you, and I was like, oh my God, and I was totally crying. I guess I feel really deeply. And then at 8 years old, and she bought the record, and I would listen to it all the time, and you know, and that was it. And it really, I gravitated to music, you know, because I had a lonely childhood.
Speaking of feeling deeply, one of the things I always noticed, I've been watching you since Sophia's Toy back in the day. I was blessed enough to be in a band that played opposite y'all. And I'll never forget, we were in when by the time y'all went on, the band that I was in, Women in Love, back in the day, was actually on the radio. And they asked us what we thought of you guys, and we were like, we're so glad that we went on first. Because one of the things I noticed, when speaking of feeling, is that, like, I remember when I first met you, I met you before I ever saw you perform, and you were so demure, had like horn rim glasses on and your hair pulled back in a bun. And then I saw you on stage, and you became this completely other woman. You, like, it was almost, well, you know, I've been to Yoruba Benbes. I would say it was almost a possession.
Yeah.
Like, is that really what happens to you, or is that, or am I just imagining or adding?
I like the word possession. I'm not afraid of it.
Right,
you know, as a Pentecostal, I saw my fair share of demonic possessions. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm the kind of person that I believe that, well, just for me, my personal opinions, I don't always feel comfortable being in rock star mode 24/7. I like wearing horn rim glasses and having my hair pulled back and looking like a geek and acting like a geek and not being a rocker, because there's so much more to life, you know? I don't like being that one-dimensional. Not that everyone who dresses like that 24/7 is one-dimensional, but for me it feels that way. It feels like I'm constantly trying to perform. So what I enjoy is making that switch, you know, and then getting up on stage. And I know I hate having to say this because it sounds really like corny and new agey, but one of the things that I love about performing, and that's really my prime directive, has always been to connect with people, and how I have always tried to do that. I guess it comes from my Pentecostal background, is that I ask God to help to, like, be the vehicle, you know? Sometimes I ask Yamaya or Kali, Pele, the goddesses, you know, to come in and be the vehicle while I'm on there, so that I can really be effective in letting people feel.
Well, communication's never corny, and I've never seen you be corny, ever, ever, ever. Like, you're one of the fiercest artists I've ever seen.
Thank you.
And, you know, I mean, here's a question that I don't want to kvetch, but I know that the light that shines on us isn't the giant spotlight. Does that ever affect your work? Does it ever affect how you approach your work?
It doesn't affect my work. Because my work, it's never compromised because the major labels can't get it and are constantly, you know, are still on this segregation wave, you know. But it can affect your life, you know, because it can affect you at the end of the day when you've recorded and you've given everything, and you've got like the millionth person telling you, how come you're not? Why can't you? Why don't you? How come you're not? You know, after hearing that literally like a million freaking times, you know, it starts to kind of, it's draining. It's energetically draining. But then you just go, ah, well, fuck it. Tomorrow's a new day, another gig.
That's what's up.
You know?
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I've been noticing now too is with the advent of people literally blowing up on the internet, it opens up a whole other world for artists. Are you taking advantage of that as well? Are you now like, are you able to reach on the MySpaces and all of that kind of stuff?
I'm actually starting a whole new internet saturation campaign. I had one done a couple of years ago, and it got me a lot of notice. Tons of hit on my MySpace page, like I've got over like 160,000 hits. But it didn't for me, it didn't translate to CD sales. So it's kind of like, maybe I'm missing something, you know, but I think that for people to really take full advantage of the internet, it's either a fluke, like there's, or not necessarily fluke, but there's a niche or some kind of, something kooky that happens that people latch on to, and then that artist gets big, or that artist creates enough buzz and somebody comes and then helps them push them up to the next level. So I don't know. I still haven't figured that one out.
I haven't either, but I just, you know, I figured maybe it was a good time if you had a website to plug it or whatever.
Oh, I do have a MySpace page.
Oh, okay.
And I actually have a great Brazilian artist that's going to be revamping it for me. Because like I said, I just began a new...
What's the page called?
It's just my name, Ramos? Sophia Ramos, yeah.
That's excellent.
Sophia spelled with a PH. Sophia Ramos, yeah, my MySpace. And I have a new album coming out.
Oh, what's the name of the album?
Revelator.
Revelator.
Yep,
all about possession and revelation.
That's right, that's right.
Well, you are a revelation.
Thank
and I want to thank you so much for your time. I hope like that, well, you answered my question so beautifully.
Did I?
That I don't have to hope anything. That was fabulous. Thank you so much. Everybody, Sophia Ramos, please support her, buy her music. Especially go see her live. She's going to hurt your feelings in the most wonderful of ways. Blessings, Sophia. Thank you.
God bless you.